Welcome to the survival horror show we call the printing industry. While everyone was busy declaring the death of paper, a $86 billion hardware empire decided to perform a digital lobotomy on itself. Today, we're dissecting the 2025 battle between HP's massive scale, Canon's optical DNA, and Sindoh's survival struggle. This isn't just a corporate update, it's a masterclass in how to change your engine while flying at 30,000 feet. If you thought printing was just about ink on a page, you're still living in the fax machine era. And trust me, the ink in your cartridge is already more expensive than vintage Dom Perignon. Look at the gravity here. HP Inc. is lugging around $55.3 billion in revenue. That's enough cash to buy every single person in London their own personal server. But scale without a soul is just a target. While HP is the Big Bertha of hardware, Canon has successfully weaponized its optical DNA to hit a 21.4% service penetration rate. In 2025, being big is a liability. Being service-centric is the only bulletproof vest. HP is still selling the razor, but Canon has figured out how to charge you for the shave via the cloud. The paperless office used to be a myth, now it's a fiscal executioner. Hybrid work isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's a margin killer. Between ESG mandates, slashing page counts, and 20% gross margins getting squeezed by geopolitical friction, the industry isn't just pivoting, it's running away from a house on fire. HP's 20.6% margin tells the story. They're essentially nibbling on bones while trying to convince investors it's a steak dinner. When your supply chain looks like a game of geopolitical Tetris, business as usual is just another way of saying bankruptcy in slow motion. Here's your 30-second triage. Canon is the digital phoenix, leveraging medical and industrial tech. HP is scale over soul, desperately pushing subscriptions to mask hardware fatigue. And Sindoh? They're the local stagnation case study, contracting by nearly 7%, while their inventory piles up like unsold gym memberships in February. If business strategy was a poker game, Canon just went all in on a full house, while Sindoh is still trying to figure out if they're playing bridge or go fish. This chart is the ultimate vanity versus sanity metric. HP's tower is massive, but it's built on sand. Only 6% of that $55 billion comes from services. In contrast, Canon's tower is shorter, but it's reinforced steel, with over 21% coming from recurring service contracts. HP is like a giant cruise ship that's hard to turn. Canon is a fleet of agile destroyers. Size only matters if you can use it to crush the competition. Otherwise, you're just a bigger target for the disruption coming from the AI horizon. 21.4%. That's the golden ratio of the printing world. Canon has moved beyond the inky fingers business and into medical IT and industrial device management. This isn't just diversification, it's a structural evolution. They've successfully convinced hospitals and factories that they aren't a printer company, they're an imaging intelligence provider. It's the difference between being the guy who sells the camera and being the guy who owns the eyes. Geopolitics is the new chief risk officer. HP is heavily fortified in the West. 76% of their revenue is in the Americas and EMEA. That's great until trade policy shifts like a tectonic plate. Canon, however, is the global diplomat, with a near-perfect split across 3 continents. And yes, for the compliance team, their supply chain flows through Suzhou and Taipei under a strict One China framework. In 2025, if your supply chain isn't geographically balanced, your balance sheet is just a ticking time bomb. Let's do some MBB-level math. Sindoh's revenue per employee looks legendary at $696,000. But don't let the math fool you. This isn't hyper-efficiency, it's outsourcing as a strategy. They've moved the labor to China and Vietnam, leaving a skeleton crew at the parent company. It's a financial mirage, like claiming you're a world-class chef because you're really good at ordering Michelin star takeout. Productivity is meaningless if you aren't innovating. Here is the red pill moment. Canon reported a 107% net profit jump. Sounds like a miracle, right? It's actually a financial kitchen sink. They took a massive $1.1 billion impairment hit in 2024, clearing the deck so 2025 would look like a moonshot. It's the corporate equivalent of cleaning your room by throwing everything into the closet and claiming you're a minimalist. It looks great on paper, but the smell of that impairment still lingers in the footnotes. What keeps these CEOs awake at night? Moats. Canon is hiding behind a wall of 1 million patents. Good luck suing them without getting countersued into the Stone Age. HP is using dynamic security to lock you into their ink cartridges. It's the Hotel California of printing. You can check out anytime you like, but your printer will never leave. These aren't features, they're handcuffs. And in a declining market, handcuffs are the only way to ensure your customers keep paying the subscription tax. HP's Instant Ink is the front line of the subscription wars. They are literally losing money on hardware just to get your credit card on file. It's the Netflixification of the home office. They've successfully boosted service revenue by 120 basis points. But the question remains, will customers keep paying for a monthly print plan when they're barely printing 3 pages a month? It's a bold bet on consumer inertia. Everyone is slapping AI on their products in 2025, but for the imaging sector, it's about survival. HP is betting on AI PCs to revive the hardware cycle, while Canon is launching the ImageForce AI engine to predict when a machine is about to die before it actually does. The goal? $600 million in structural savings. In short, they're using AI to fire the maintenance guy and replace him with an algorithm that never sleeps and doesn't ask for a raise. Let's talk about the debt monster. HP has a liability ratio of 100.8%. They are essentially a leveraged bet on themselves, buying back shares while their equity sits in the basement. Canon, meanwhile, has an interest cover of 62x. They could pay their interest with the loose change found in the CEO's couch. HP is living on the edge of the credit rating cliff, while Canon is sitting on a mountain of cash. Choose your fighter, the aggressive gambler or the disciplined shogun. This chart is a horror movie for investors. See that red line? That's Sindoh's finished goods inventory skyrocketing by 155%. See the gray line? That's their revenue falling. This is channel stuffing 101. They're pushing boxes into warehouses and calling it progress, but the market isn't buying. When your inventory grows 20 times faster than your sales, you aren't a tech company anymore. You're a very expensive storage facility for plastic. The verdict? Stop selling boxes and start selling brains. The future isn't in the hardware. It's in the AI-integrated services that manage the flow of data, not just ink. If you're an investor, follow the margins, not the volume. If you're a competitor, watch Canon's medical pivot. And if you're Sindoh, well, maybe start looking into a very large garage sale for all that inventory. This was just the tip of the iceberg. We have full-page dataset that goes deeper into the raw numbers of the 2025 imaging sector than a submarine. If you want the full report, email us at sales@hdinresearch.com or hit the link in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, is HP's debt-heavy strategy brilliant or suicidal? I'm the chief analyst at HDIN Research, and I'll see you in the next deep dive. Stay data-driven.